This poem was a favorite of my father's, which I found rather surprising since my dad read the national news and the international news, financial news definitely, and sports. And I never saw him with a fiction book or any poetry. As I was looking through some old pictures of my father, I found a letter from him to his father. He was in World War I, and he was in some of the worst battles of World War I, the Argonne Forest and San Miguel. And sometimes only about a third to a half of the men came back from those battles. And in one of his letters, he says, "How I came through that drive without being wounded or killed, I don't know. The shells and machine gun bullets surely were flying thick and fast all around us. A lot of my pals were wounded and are in the hospital." And as I looked through this letter and saw that he talked about some of the terrible ruins and seeing the bodies and all, and I thought, now I think I understand why that poem reached him. This poem, Lycidas, is by John Milton, and in it he mourns a friend who was accidentally drowned on the Irish Sea. Look homeward, angel, now, and melt with ruth, and O ye dolphins, waft the hapless youth. Weep no more, woeful shepherds, weep no more, for Lycidas your sorrow is not dead. Sunk though he be beneath the watery floor, so sinks the day star in the ocean bed. And yet anon repairs his drooping head, and tricks his beams, and with new-spangled ore flames in the forehead of the morning sky. So Lycidas, sunk low, but mounted high through the dear might of him that walked the waves, where other groves and other streams along with nectar pure his oozy locks he laves, and hears the unexpressive nuptial song in the blessed kingdoms meek of joy and love. There entertain him all the saints above in solemn troops, and sweet societies that sing, and singing in their glory move and wipe the tears forever from his eyes. Now, Lycidas, the shepherds weep no more. Henceforth thou art the genius of the shore, in thy large recompense, and shall be good to all that wander in that perilous flood. Thus sang the uncouth swain to the oaks and rills, while the still morn went out with sandals gray. He touched the tender stops of various quills, with eager thought warbling his Doric lay. And now the sun had stretched out all the hills, and now was dropped into the western bay. At last he rose, and twitched his mantle blue, tomorrow to fresh woods and pastures new. I found that the upbeat end of Lycidas has meant something to me too, because when things were grim, or at least I thought they were grim, I found that going through my head and feeling much better about things.